I hear you want to run an ultramarathon. Nature is such a helpful teacher on this path of training and preparation. For so many reasons. Nature takes the time to blossom. And as you get out there, outside, in your neighborhood, or on the forest trails, on the beach, take the time to admire your ups and your downs, right? The same with nature. Nature goes through so much, but never complains. Simply moves through the tides, moves through the seasons, whether it's a bitter ice storm or a extreme heat wave. And you'll feel the same thing in your body when you're training for an ultramarathon. For instance, today I got dressed up pretty warm and working on the little parts. There's little parts to training, and then there's the bigger parts. So here's something little. My shoestrings. These shoestrings, if they're not tied right, well, it's going to stop me when I start running, right? Because take, for example, a hockey player. When I've never played hockey, but I can imagine if you don't put your skates on the right way, you can't focus on the game. Or a dancer, a ballet dancer. I remember in high school, I took tap dancing and ballet. We would work on those little skills, like the flap, the flap, the flap, the flap, the flap, the flap, and the pirouette. And after we worked on the little skills, come showtime, we'd put it all together for the big performance. For me, it helps me in my own brain. I think about performing for Mother Nature, for the trees, the teachers. I wanted to give you a helpful tip. If you're unsure about what an event course might look like or feel like, let's say you want to sign up for a big event. When I say big, I'm talking about an event that's over 50 miles or over the 100K distance. Hood 100. That's an event that I was fortunate enough to volunteer for last year, 2024. I got out there with 2 other volunteer sweepers. We were behind all the runners, and we just basically had the job, the task of sweeping the course. So as we were running at a nice, easy pace and a lot of hiking, because that course has a lot of elevation gain, we were able to get to see part of the course. That day, I think, gosh, it was last year, it might have been a 26-mile sweep that we did. I can't remember the distance, but it was a great way to see the course. It was a great way to imagine that I would someday run this Hood 100. And that's Mount Hood in Oregon. So this weekend, which it's March 2025, I will be sweeping again. I will be volunteering at a different event. It's a beautiful course called the Sayusla Dunes, and it's near Florence, Oregon. There's another beautiful example of nature taking its time to blossom. This is the grandiflora. When those flowers come out, ooh, they are so grand. But I just wanted to remind you that if you're overwhelmed by the thought of, well, how could I possibly run 100 miles? It takes practice. Just like dance practice or life practice, we show up, we do little skills. Having a good attitude helps. Looking at it one step at a time, one flap ball change at a time, one skip hop at a time, one walk, one hike, one run at a time, one pausing to admire nature, one breath at a time. So if you have the time, get out there and volunteer for an event that you want to do someday and learn about the course, learn about how the runners show up and maybe some of the tips and tricks they use. Watch, observe. Take in the beauty of the flowers. Okay, it's time for my moving meditation. And I hope that you also have a beautiful moving meditation today.